Episode 114 of Blathering Live. Hey, everybody, I'm Ken Napzok. We're live on a Thursday night, 5 p.m. in the Pacific, the best time zone in the world. Why? Because you can watch Angel and Dodger games when you're having dinner, not when you're going to bed. And I'm a Yankee fan. Welcome back. Thank you to everyone who listens to the audio versions and also the episodes of A Knapsack File, which are now available on the podcast feed. Appreciate you check that out. If you're listening on Spotify, if you listen to your podcast on Spotify, you can leave a comment that I will ignore. A lot of folks already checking in. Laserbolt, we'll see if Laserbolt is back from his adventure. We got Kingsport Cal challenging me to have a good show tonight. Steve is here. We got some NFL picks at the top of the hour. I think I had a pretty good weekend. I think I did. My Dolphins won on Monday Night Football. I think I covered with the Bengal game. But I got to be honest, I sometimes just wait for Steve to call in and tell me I did good. The professor, Addie, she's here. Jared the Tide Pilot will be calling in, not just because I assume he will, because I see that he's called in. What an asshole I would be. Oh, I said a curse word early on the show. This video is going to be demonetized for the first key 24 hours of its existence, much like my episode last week, which, even though it was for channel members only, was demonetized, or at least limited ads, which means no 12 cents for Kenny. But anyways, what an a-hole I would be if I assumed Jared, the Tide Pilot, was going to call in. But he's going to call in because I see him call in. Brian Tiller's here. Scotty J. Rowe is here. Oh, my God, what fun on a horrible week. But what fun was it last week with Alden Diaz and I taking our Anytime with Ken and Alden vibes over to the Bombad cast with Jerry and Scotty. I love those two guys. In fact, I'm getting to know them better and more now, so that the next time I see them at a con, three-way makeout. It's going to be so fun. Check out the episode that they had. We did a crossover episode. It's on either Anytime's page or the Bombad page as well. And some stuff soon with them on Force Center. Being a lot of fun. We have a poll up tonight before I get into what's on my mind as people check on in here. Thanks for watching, hanging out. James Holmes gifted 5 memberships here to the channel. I really appreciate that. That's how you call into the channel. That's very thoughtful, James. A true gentleman, Mr. Holmes there. And that's how you can call in. Become a channel member or a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/Ken Napzok, and you can call into the show. Will McLean is here, says, watching Angels games doesn't sound fun no matter what the time zone is. Look, man, Cody Hall is not watching right now. I don't think Cody Hall's watching. Sometimes Cody Hall sneaks in, but Will, that was it. That was a shot. That was a shot. Svetnik here as well. I don't think I ate bad food. It was comfort food. Thank you very much. All right, and that is the poll tonight, because the last week has been trying for a lot of folks. Hey, Major Problems is back here. Evan's here as well. Because the last week or so has been a lot, and we don't need to get into the weeds on that right now. But a lot of us have just been trying to cope. It's important to cope. I don't even know what cope means. I haven't looked that up in a dictionary in a long time. In fact, I haven't looked at a dictionary in a long time. I've looked at dictionary.com. I don't know what cope. I do know what cope means. We've all had to cope, and I put the poll up. The poll tonight. 22 votes are in. How did you self-care this past week? Ate bad food, slept in really late one day, drink or drugs, or both. You don't have to answer. Just you can vote for it. Or all of it. And so far, 24 votes now in. Ate bad food is winning with 50% of the vote total. Now 52% of the vote total. Slept in. I'm like John King on CNN. Let's check the communities here. Go down to this district voting on ate bad food. Slept in really late one day. Oh no, we just had a change right in front of me. Drink or drugs or both is now at 20%. Slept in really late, 16%. All of it, 12%. I can't say all of it. Because I didn't. I ate. My vice this past week was eating like a champion. Oh, God. I ate so good and bad. Oh, it's been a week. Even today, I had a big breakfast. My friend Joe Starr and I met up for breakfast, which we do. We try to do about once a month, once every 6 weeks. And we met up at like 7:30 in the morning, which is early for me. And normally I'll get an omelet, but I'll try like maybe some cottage cheese on the side. Maybe it's a Greek omelet, just a cheese omelet, some tomatoes somewhere in there. I had the Western omelet today. Oh my God. Ham and cheddar cheese and bell peppers and toast and hash browns and Joe did the same as well. He had a stack of pancakes that quite frankly got me horny. And it was a morning. So that's been my week. That's been my vice. I did some drinking. In fact, we, as always, are going to crack open a White Claw, not a sponsor, White Claw Surge right here, right now. Laser Bolt says there's no such thing as bad food. I don't disagree with that, Laser Bolt, but when you do something and and your body's like, that wasn't good. Yeah, that's been my last week. Michael McCarsell says, I made burgers for my fiance but also had Brussels sprouts with it, so I think that balances out. Maybe. I'll give that to you there, Michael. We're up to 27 votes. I did sleep in real late one day. Not so late, but I slept in late one day. And drink, I traveled this weekend. Grace and I had to go to Yucca Valley. More on that later, but we had an option to drink a lot, but I didn't. So I honestly say I have not tied one on in the last few days. That's not been part of my coping. Brian Tiller says big beer and wine weekend. Addie said I didn't sleep in much, so as my body demanded 10 hours of sleep last night. I did cars and video games for the total goober. Hey, that's good enough too. I'm part of that coping there as well. I know Ken Plume better vote and be honest in the vote here. Plume, you better vote honestly, because I know what you did. And I'll tell people if I don't get a confession here in chat. Kingsport Cal says White Claws. Yeah, White Claws. I'm not on them. Kingsport Cal. It's just I call White Claw America's water, and that's kind of where I'm at today. Look at my beard. I haven't shaved or trimmed any of that stuff. I haven't. Look at this. I look like a sailor. Sailor. Oh, all right. Yeah. I know. Here's what Ken Plume did. He had 20 mozzarella sticks. 20. And I couldn't be more proud of him. More proud of him as a human, as a man, as an American. He coped like a king from another country. Speaking of another country, Maddie Gunner is in chat, which reminds me to remind you to check out. I got to get an updated promo if you want. Maddie Gunner's band has their song Truth. It's out now. Check it out there since we're here. And I outed him as a mozzarella stick fiend. Don't hesitate to check out The Art of DuckTales, the book that Ken Plume put together. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. If you're a fan of DuckTales or have someone in your life who's a fan of DuckTales, this holiday season, this is a book you want. Deluxe edition is available. Check that out. There, we'll come back to some more promotions, and I got some more on the way, too. I got my friend, my old roommate, Aaron Alexovich, is getting ready to send some stuff into me. Aaron Alexovich, a lot of you might know if you were a fan of the show, Invader Zim. He was the character designer on the show, worked on that. We were actually roommates when he got hired for that job out of Cal Arts. And he's got a great piece of art coming out that I want you all to hear about it there. We got calls. We got things to get to. We also got things on my mind. So vote in the poll while I'm here. And here's where I'm at. This Big Lou's Clubhouse checks in. Here's where I'm at. I'm not angry right now. I'm not saying I'm not angry anymore. I'm not saying I don't have some juices simmering deep down in the pan over the election last week and the fallout and the discourse and this. Of course I'm angry. And I'm going to put this caveat out there every time I talk about it because I think caveats are important in this digital media world where you can clip out points or people don't listen to points. This election will affect lives. End of story. Full stop. This election will affect lives, possibly even kill more people than already the world will by itself, right? Ukraine, Palestinians. We've got Mike Huckabee as the up for ambassador to Israel, who just today was quoting Genesis 12 as the philosophy that he's going to take into the job, which is to never turn your back on Israel or God will smite you in a sense. He's an end times prophecy guy. He's going to go take that philosophy into his job if he gets it, and he probably will. All these appointees, I think most of them will probably get the jobs that they're appointed to. And that stuff makes me angry, but I'm also not angry right now. But I have to be clear and say, hey, this is affecting people. If you're still angry, have that anger. Let that anger focus you. Let that provide clarity. Let that help you figure out where you want to fight over the next 4 years, where you want to just get along in life. Because it's the time. It's the time. We are going to be in a world of hurt soon and fast. But at the same time, the reason I'm not angry is the explosion of Blue Sky this week, like 1 million new followers and users this week. An environment of kinship and community. And I'm on record. Yeah, I can't deny it. Even 2 weeks ago, I was telling people, don't sign up for Blue Sky. It's boring as hell. I did Joseph Scrimshaw as a witness. I have said off air many times, I do think Blue Sky had the best look if you're looking to replace Twitter just by a habit where it looks the same and feels the same. Blue Sky was that answer and has been for a while. Hive was closed for 48 hours. But Blue Sky exploded, and it requires participation to be good. And I was over social media and I've been over social media for well over 5 years. Don't want to engage on it. Don't want to post pithy little jokes and this and that. That's all changed this week in Blue Sky. And Blue Sky hasn't made me forget the election, but it's made me feel like I'm part of a group that's going through this together, and that we can say things, and that there's no tolerance for the trolls and the grifters and everything. Now we'll see. Blue Sky's exploding so fast. I saw some names. Pop up in the Blue Sky, like, hey, they followed you, and I'm like, here we go. The dips are coming. And we got to figure it out. But there was like one guy, he followed me who I've actually banned and blocked from Force Center and my own stuff, and he showed up on Blue Sky, and he hasn't said a peep. And I'm waiting for this guy to say something. And you just get the sense over there that it doesn't matter. We're not playing the game anymore. We're not taking the bait. We're not going into it. We're not letting ourselves, anyone who's in opposition to Trumpers and MAGA, and I'm putting that as a big umbrella. You could be a Republican for Trump, or you could be a Christian against Trump. You could be a Republican against Trump. You can be a lot of things in that tent and that umbrella, but there's just not that tolerance for the engagement and the baiting. And that's important because Trump, I think, has continues to put, even before as I went to air, his assistant deputy attorney general pick is his defense lawyer. It's an affront to the criminal trials and cases. It's just him going nuts to that. My defense lawyer is now going to be the deputy attorney general. Of course, Matt Gaetz, currently, or I guess technically not currently, under investigation for sexual misconduct, which is the polite word to say it. Polite phrase and description to use. All that is a big triggering attempt from Trump. It is a own the libs philosophy that this administration is going to have. So you know what my thought is? We should laugh at them. We should poke truth out there, or poke bubbles in the lies. I'm going to absolutely never shut up about that absolute shit dick Mike Huckabee, who will take his biblical philosophies and worldview into an important position, and that will lead to the destruction, the death, and maybe erasure of Palestinians. I'm never going to lay up on that absolute fucking jerk. Absolutely not. Huckabee, I'll take him down if I could. Not the FBI don't, you know what I mean? I'd take him down politically if I could. No, you check my car for pipe bombs. Oh, YouTube's definitely going to demonetize that now. I'm not going to let up on that stuff, but I'm not going to let myself get triggered by it. I'm not going to let myself get triggered by these appointees. I'm not going to do the dunk takes and just, can you believe it? Yeah, I can believe it. We all should believe it. And I think in 2016 to 2020, and from 2020 to now, there's been a whole lot of, can you believe it? Look how dumb they are. And that's fun to do internally. But we've done that so publicly. I love watching Jordan Klepper go to a Trump rally and point out how stupid they are. They don't care, even if they know how stupid they are. Even if they know, they don't care. This is what they're doing. And it all flows back up to the false prophet at the top. And I'm not letting up on that either. Christians have voted. 82 to 83% of white evangelical Christians have voted for the false prophet that they warned me against every Sunday morning. Am I saying is Trump the actual Antichrist? I don't know, because I don't necessarily believe in the book of Revelation anymore. I used to study it often. This isn't something that I didn't spend time with back in my church days. I have a lot of, I like 4 books on my bookshelf about the end times prophecy. I've read up on it for a long time. I don't believe it anymore. I believe it's possibly a coded message from John in captivity to Christians under the rule of Rome. And it's a coded message on how to deal with it. They were dealing with the now. Passover and all that stuff is dealing with the now. They wanted Jesus to be a hammer to save them now. And all that stuff's going on. So all that stuff is going on, but I'm not going to be mad. And we got to let this happen. Already some Republican members of the Senate, even some Congress are saying, I don't think Matt Gaetz should be approved. And we've spent 8 years poking fun, and I'm not going to do it anymore because poking fun, I'll do it here. Don't get me wrong. Let's go back to making fun of Mike Huckabee playing bass. Let's do it. Let's do it. But you know what I mean? If you get what I'm saying, where I think for the last 4 years, especially, we've all shared clips, and I think we should continue to share clips because it helps cope. Don't get me wrong. Share clips, post them, but it's not helping. It's not changing things. And then we get all ruffled and we get all angry, and we're the ones who suffer. Trump's trying to trigger us with appointees. He's trying to trigger the nation. It's the ultimate own the libs. I'll burn it down to own you. And I think he might end up just burning down his administration. Now, that's a false hope that I don't want to hold on to. It's not a reality. It's a possibility. I think in 2016, there was a lot of wait and see. We had somewhat normal people around him. Not always. Looking at you, Kellyanne Conway. We had some normal people around him that eventually either were fired or walked off, you know? I wonder what Rex Tillerson's thinking tonight. We don't have that anymore. He is surrounding himself with unqualified, for the most part, loyalists, or even if they're qualified. Marco Rubio is qualified for Secretary of State. He's qualified for it. He's a hawk. And that's going to, our position in the world will change dramatically with him as Secretary of State. At least Stefanik, ambassador to NATO. That's a joke. That's a joke. Yeah, Jake Yakoveta, right? Kristi Noem is egregious. Sycophants, says Addie. Sycophants. And I as you can tell, it's still upset, but I'm not going to be angry about it anymore. Not going to be angry about it anymore. We're going to see what's going to happen, and we're going to do it, and we're going to see where we're going to affect change in our lives. And I can't change a Republican senator's mind right now, but maybe I can change someone in my life, not strangers, because the strangers don't care. I saw 400 cars with Trump flags driving down the 118 freeway this Sunday, celebrating, clogging up the freeway. And I'm not lying. I talked about it in detail on my podcast that I recorded earlier this week on a knapsack file. 400 cars, 6 freeway exits deep, clogging Simi Valley, leaving the San Fernando Valley to Simi Valley. 400 cars, double the people, flags, everything. In sports terms, they've got scoreboard. There's nothing I can do to go in there and change them. But the people in my life who are ready to listen to me, and I'm going to listen to them, that's part of the thing going on, too. I heard a great thing. I'm going to say this on Anytime tomorrow. I said it in the podcast yesterday. I heard a great thing from, I got to get his name. I got to write his name. It's James O'Brien's show. If you Brits out there know James O'Brien on the LBC network there, which is what, long British conversation or listen. It's very British. He's great. He's great. He had a guest on who works in the world of conspiracies, which is something I know enough. I kind of work in the world of conspiracies, not to a academic level. I'm not like Professor Addie here with all the brain power, but I work and I study it. Part of my day job is to break down conspiracies or urban legends and find out even just where they come from. One I've been obsessed with is the New Jersey Devil. You out there in the East Coast probably know the New Jersey Devil that's been around since the 1700s, haunting the wilderness there. That comes from a Quaker in the 1700s who had a printing press, was in like the newspaper business, a newspaper man, you see. And he started to have problems with the Quakers, and he was putting things in their newspaper that the Quakers kind of deemed immoral, telling the story generally here. He had a son who took over eventually, and that printing press was a rival for Benjamin Franklin's. So the Quakers, those pious and pure, God-loving Quakers, started a rumor that this guy, was the problem. He was a deviant, all these things, and his wife, who they had a lot of children. They said one of her final kids, that when she became pregnant, she didn't want it. She cursed it. She cursed it and said, make it a devil. And so out came a devil, and the devil stared at her. And then it returned the next night, this little devil, this little gnome thing. And then it went into the wilderness, where it returned 100 years later. And 100 years later or so, there is these weird series of sightings of something weird, and that's where kind of the legend grew. But Benjamin Franklin spurned this. He fueled this fire. He helped spread these rumors. The New Jersey Devil urban legend comes from some pious Quaker asses trying to disparage someone who was thinking outside their religious box. I love that stuff. Let's go into it. Let's do it. They had this conspiracy theory expert on James O'Brien's show, and he made this wonderful point. Wonderful point. Any conspiracy and any conspiracy theorist, you can find some truth to build something. It can be a foundation. There's things that are real, right? There's things that are real. And then people will go, well, you know, sometimes the MK13, I've said this stuff before. We're like, those aren't conspiracies. Those are things done in the shadows by governments. Yeah, governments do things in shadows, not a shock. But you can build these truths, and it just spirals out of control. One of the things the Republican Party has done really well following the fall of Nixon is to create an anti-system environment. The system's wrong. The system's wrong. And in some ways, there's some truth. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a nutbag. Him being appointed to the head of Food and Drug Administration, Department of Health, all this, that's a problem. But there's some things we do in this country that I think we should look at, right? I go over to Paris and ate a giant large cheese pizza and thought, here, I'm going to die from heartburn. I actually felt better than I did before I ate. You know, there's things out here. I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not taking fluoride out of the water. But there's some truths there. And you can stoke that. You can build that up. So it becomes this, well, it could be true. And what that does and what they've succeeded, and they didn't plan this out where from Goldwater to Trump, they didn't plan it out that it was going to work out this way. But it grew and grew and grew and grew. And when people don't trust the system and things aren't great, what it's done is created a situation where Democrats have been on the back pedal. They've been backpedaling. And things aren't great, right? The economy, by all the standard markers, and I apologize, I did this on the podcast, the audio-only version of Knapsack File, and some of you probably hearing it again. I apologize. Kingsport Cal, you're hearing it again. But they create this system where the Democrats, the Democrats have to defend a system that's not working. The economy, by all traditional markers, has improved. The Democrats have once again fixed or got the economy in a position to be fixed, which is historic and a historical fact that happens more often than not. But things aren't working. The eggs are. Well, the eggs aren't. Eggs are pretty cheap. I went off on the podcast on $9 creamer. I don't know if I can go to the grocery store this week. I'm hurting. This is a month where I'm hurting financially. And that's a reality. But I can't blame Joe Biden for that. Quite frankly, I don't even know if I'm going to blame Trump for that, or Clinton and some of his deregulation, or Bush and everything. You could blame these administrations. You can blame these parties. But I'm going to say it's capitalism. Free-range, unfettered capitalism that has absolutely just destroyed so much of the middle class, so much of the wealth, all the things to talk about with crime as an economic reason. That's a reality. So when I'm trying to talk to someone who I know and I love and I care for, and they're on one side, I'm on the other side, and they have the view of, well, we need to fix it because the system's broke, and I go, no, I have to go, no. We don't need those conspiracy nut jobs. The system is fine, but the truth is the system has some big cracks and flaws. Because I'm often asking these people for some lunch money, and I'm also telling them, no, the economy's great. By the way, can I have $25 I need to eat this week? And those on the right for years have successfully crafted this system versus anti-system type of approach that has put Democrats in a position of having to defend something that might not be perfect, but at least we can have it and have some sense of reality, and it just didn't work. All over the world, major elections over the last couple of years, my buddy Ken Plume and I talk about this all the time. Most of the elections over the last year or so, the incumbents have lost. France is ready to explode. Germany, for the first time since, I don't know, World War II, alt-rights are back in power. Like, it's It's all over the world. And we got to fix the system while also maintaining normalcy. And that's a hard thing. And I think all that's going on, and all that boils down to the Trump appointees. And that's where my mindset is at. Take a White Claw. I got calls coming in. We're going to get to them. One other thing I want to I'm making sure I stay honest about something. I absolutely despise Tony Hinchcliffe, and I went off on it, and I did a video, and I released the video separately. Clipped it out from the show. I put a little 90-second clip of it on Instagram. Oh, people are really upset at me, and I stand by it. It's going to get lost because the election went Trump's way, and no one's going to look at Tony Hinchcliffe's jokes at the rally at Madison Square Garden as a problem anymore. It's going to be lost to history, and it's going to empower a lot of comics to take that kind of shit into comedy clubs even more than they already do. But in that mind, now one of the big things I always say this: some of the jokes I don't like any of them, but I keep saying this is not about offense to me as a stand-up comic. It's not about offense to me. I will give comics so much room to play. So much room to play. But if I was angry at Tony Hinchcliffe, I have to publicly say I don't want anyone to call me a hypocrite here, because everyone tried to over the George Lopez stuff, and it's stupidness. But I don't want to be hypocritical to myself. I'm a fan of Bill Burr. I call myself a pretty big fan of Bill Burr in terms of what he's done and who he is as a comic. And I've been around him. I don't know him. I haven't spoken directly. I've been within 2 feet of him. Like all accounts, good dude. And I really think he could be I wish he had an Eminem type of change, where now Eminem is like, call me a snowflake, great, winter's coming. You want to do this? Let's rumble. I wish Bill Burr had that conversion. I wish he did. I wish he would join Maron on that side. His SNL monologue was, first of all, I've seen that set at Flappers 15 times in the last month. But I really think it's never about offense. And it was a comedy setting. That's not a rally. It's not a rally. It's a Saturday Night Live monologue. But I didn't like his choices, and it's frustrating. Some of his choices. He took a lot of shots at Trump and this and that, but they weren't even great jokes. They were just bleh. Seen him every week in clubs. But the jokes about feminists being ugly and the pantsuits and hoard up a bit and everything like that. Like, I don't mind those words, and I'll say them too, and blah blah blah. But it was so dangerously tone deaf. And my problem with folks like Burr, who is 30 million times the comic I will ever be. Don't anyone twist it. I'm a journeyman. I'm a backup utility infielder. He's a Hall of Famer. All right? Don't twist it. But this isn't me tisking and tattling. It was disappointing as a comic to see someone with that much power just dip and cater and think that it doesn't matter. And that's my big thing. That's my big thing with the Hinchcliffe thing. It wasn't that I was like, the Puerto Rican joke. That would have worked at a roast. It wouldn't even been a great roast joke, but it would have worked at a roast, as I said in the videos there. But I just wanted to make sure I addressed it. It was disappointing, and that's a soft, light way to describe it. I wish people in positions of power like Bill Burr, who had tremendous skills, would understand the weight of the words and the timing and what they could do with their voice. And I'm not saying every joke needs to be political. By God, I did a set 2 nights ago that had no politics in it because I didn't want to do it. And they didn't want to hear it. We're going to talk about food in a second. But it was tremendously, like I said, I'm using the word disappointing because I'm not disappointed because I'm not directly affected by his words. Others are. Comics who take the stage and have tremendous reach. A reach that can change and sway elections when they don't choose to use it for what I view as the light side. It's frustrating. But anyways, I don't want anyone to call me out on that. Final thing, we're taking some calls. Actually, Ken Plume said something I really agree with. Burr had lazy drop-in energy. I know, and this is an excuse for any words he said. He said he had the flu during the week. It absolutely looked like a comic who dropped in to work out material. It's like that was the thing he should have done 3 nights before at, New York Comedy Club in East Village or something. It was weird. It was off, and it was poor on every level. Words matter. Words matter. Words matter. But yeah, okay. And the final thing, talking myself silly here. The final thing, for me, I had a good time in Yucca Valley this past weekend. I don't love Yucca Valley. It's high desert, Joshua Tree, Yucca Valley, Palm Springs. But I had a great time in Yucca Valley. Grace and I went out there in support of her short film, Dawn, that was made by Christian Rivacaba and Cody Hall. Remsen Allard on DP there. And we got to see the short along with other films there. Met some wonderful people. Had a great time. Hit a coffee shop twice in one day. We drank. We did some drinking, but I didn't. You know what? I didn't pound these down. I'll tell you why I didn't pound these down because I went to Del Taco. I had a double Del cheeseburger, large fry, 2 tacos, then some White Claws. All right. But the final thing here, I went for 30 minutes on this. I apologize. I'm not angry right now. I'm concerned. I'm upset. I'm focused. I also taken my moments to not care, which is important if you know what I mean. But being this weekend, being around just friends, seeing them face to face, connected. I'm going to dinner tomorrow night with some friends too. If you can do it, if you can get it, if you can afford it, do it. That's what's going to get us through here. Community support. So there you go. Addie says, Ken apologizing for blathering. Well, if that's the case, guess who's the first caller on the show? The professor. The professor gets to address it. But first, before Addie takes the stage, James, good night, time zones, etc. We'll be listening to the rest later. I appreciate you, James. Thank you for gifting 5 memberships to the channel here. So there you go. All right, Addie, the professor. How you doing?
I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
To quote a different podcast I listen to, we're here because we're here, because we're here, because we're here.
There you go. We're here. Just being here is an act of resistance, Addie. Right?
Yep.
Jared says,
getting up in the morning, feet hitting the floor.
Feet on the ground. Feet on the ground. Be here now. Be present. What is Addie Gallia says, because we're here. It is always good when a Jedi checks in. One of my favorite Jedis. But all right. But what can we do, Addie, to make it more than just here?
I need you to convince me to join Blue Sky.
Okay. I like this.
I got off the dumpster fire more than a year ago.
Smart.
Because the jumping man in black, whose name I will not say.
Well, the American, the United States oligarch who's currently influencing policies. He's speaking with Iran and Zelensky.
Yeah, I couldn't take his BS when he bought the thing. So
you didn't think him walking in with a sink was funny? A kitchen sink? Hilarious. He's so cool, Addie.
I guess I need someone to explain comedy to me.
It ain't him. It ain't him. All right, so here's the thing. All right, Addie wants me to convince her to join Blue Sky, which is ironic because I'm talking 2 Fridays ago, I was on Anytime telling Alden, do not join Blue Sky. It's just not worth your time. And somewhere I can feel Ked Plume putting down his mozzarella sticks, ready to type something to me. Here's the right now it is a needed sense of community. There's an energy there. Sometimes horrible things happen that kind of kick you into higher gear. I've been on Blue Sky for a year and a half, 2 years. I was one of the people. I got an invite and I was giving out invites. No one was there. People weren't interacting. People kept telling me you get from it what you put into it. I'm like, I don't want that in social media. I also had used to have 45,000 followers on Twitter, bots, and everyone went away, down to 36, down to 34,000. I still have a built-in audience if I can promote something. But the reality is, for me, and this isn't necessarily for you, Addie, I would promote something on the other spot, and 3 people would see it. That it ceased to be even advantageous to my career. And I had stopped posting. I had stopped interacting. I don't know how you were, Addie, years ago on social media when this all came about. when we all joined Friendster and then MySpace and then this new one. And then I used to be pretty active. And that all changed in 2020 with the state of the world, the murder of George Floyd. I just didn't want to. It just all didn't seem like I'll post my podcast and I'll just get out of there. In less than 1 week's time, I have found newfound energy to be myself and share myself with the world in terms of social media. I go on a show every week, but you go on a show every week, Addie. You're here, so you could work that as well. But I have found a stronger connection through social media than I have in the last 5 years in 3-4 days. And if that's what you're looking for, it might be a good spot for you. But I had breakfast with my friend this morning, Joe. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to go there. I just thought I'm definitely leaving the other spot. But what if I don't replace it with anything?
Well, see, and that's where I got off the other spot, and I also got off Facebook. I am only on Instagram now because I have tricked the Instagram algorithm into giving me Taylor Swift baking inspiration and like weird book memes. So I have the Instagram algorithm tailored to me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to decide if I want social media more than that back or not, because I was hopelessly addicted to it for a good decade.
Yeah.
That serotonin hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just am, but you and Joseph Scrimshaw and other creators and artists that I follow have all been like, we went to Blue Sky, and I'm like, do I need to get on Blue Sky?
I think, look, here's the thing. Nicky Kumar's in chat, and he says, my biggest plus for Blue Sky is it doesn't give me a headache by simply looking at it. It's neater and cleaner. And that's true. It looks good. It looks clean. Eventually apps and social media sites change and update and upgrade. But it's pleasing to look at. Nikki's absolutely right. Addie, you might have bigger points that you want to wrestle of just forget the state of the world. Just this is something I need in my life. This is to take away productivity. If you're happy with Instagram, like I'm on Instagram a lot, but I don't interact. I'm just there, but that's good. That's what I need. That's where I watch my stupid things, or actually on YouTube more than anything. There's so many documentaries and ASMR videos to watch that I never get the end of it. My friend Brian Tiller says in chat, I'm with you, Addie, only on Insta. Which is a good choice to make. I don't think you're wrong for it. I just think what you might be looking for, what you might need, some things you expressed here, that sense of community, it might be there if you find it and you train it too. It doesn't have an algorithm in the sense of other social media sites. So you have to kind of train it as well. But what's happening is, I put some pretty directly political things on there that I have not put on, X.com or anything in a while. Instagram done some videos, and no one came after me. And I don't mean that in the sense of, no one came at me with a dissenting opinion. I just mean none of those people came after me, and it was nice. I'm not looking for the affirmation, but I'm looking to have my voice heard in the world. And for the first time in a long time, I felt, I'm actually looking forward to logging on and being me. And that hasn't been the case for a long time for me. So I don't know if that affects you. I don't know if that's what you're looking for. You might just be okay. Sign up. Don't even have a picture. Use a code name.
No one.
Check it out. And Will McLean says another thing. I just appreciate the chronological timeline being the default. Not having to see people yell at each other constantly too. Yeah, there's something of that too. I actually am confused sometimes where I'm like, I scroll and I'm like, oh, that was the post I saw before I went to bed. Oh, that's right. It's chronological. I can actually see it in a timely fashion. So
I do appreciate Instagram's new feature where it tells me I've seen everything that's been posted in the last 3 days. And it's like, oh, you've scrolled enough. You have seen all the posts from the past 3 days.
Yeah, it's always disappointing when you get to the end. Major Problem says, do you want me to come after you, Ken? Because I'll do it. Yeah, every once in a while. Keep me alive, Major Problems. So anyways, I don't know if I'm giving you the sales pitch that is tailored to me, Addie, which isn't necessarily the best piece of advice, but does any of that work?
I mean, it gives me You've saved me from doing my own research, so thank you, sir.
But here's the thing. Yeah, like, look, if you just pop on it and you follow a few people and, you're not going to, you're going to be like me the last 2 years where I was just like, there's no reason for me to really be on there. So that's why it works a little different than the other spots. Even Threads, I think Threads is one of the weirdest things in the world. I don't dislike it, but it is just bizarre. I am convinced, along with others, I am convinced that there are AI-run accounts that are put there by Meta to farm engagement in the most weird, seemingly innocuous ways. But it's bizarre over there. But I go there all the time. I'm still on to. I'm not deleting any Twitter things yet. X, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm sitting on it. I don't want to lose that. I might delete some posts and everything, but I'm sitting on them. Who knows what's going to happen? And I want to be able to go back seamlessly. But Greg Pak, a comic book writer, Greg Pak posted today that there was a couple sports teams who've got official accounts now on Blue Sky, and he said this is big news, and he's right, because that's the big thing it's lacking right now that Twitter did become at its peak. I remember posting on Facebook, there was an active shooter locally in LA, and the local news couldn't. I would go to their websites, even not TV. I went to the websites, KNBC and everything, and they didn't have any information on an active shooter, but Twitter had it in real time. That's when it changed for a lot of people, right? Blue Sky doesn't have that to me right now. It has a news tab you can add and everything, but there's not, like, if there was an earthquake, I don't think I would get real information from Blue Sky. I'd have to go other places. So I think that's starting to change. Once sports shows up, once bands and studios, and a lot of people are going to be like, well, that's one of the things that ruined Twitter. It became corporate, everything. I don't disagree. I don't know if it's going to play out the same way, but for it to be a true Twitter replacement, it has to have that. Otherwise, I could go to just Vero or Laps or LinkedIn and just have an insular experience. And I think that's what it's missing. It could start to get it.
Oh, I'm not ready to talk about sports. The Rays have a new stadium.
They do have a new stadium. Well, I'm ready to talk about the Dolphins at the top of the hour because what a Monday night for me.
They announced they have announced they're not playing in Tropicana Field for 2025. It cannot be repaired.
Where are they playing? What's the headline?
The Yankees are letting them play in their spring training stadium that seats 11,000 people.
See, this is all the Rays need, and thanks to the benevolence of my New York Yankees, we'll have a baseball team in Tampa this year.
It seats 11,000
That's
people,
all you need.
Ken.
Let's be honest, Addie. That Tampa Devil Ray Stadium was a parking lot. It was. I could have driven Nikki's car through it and not hit a fan. You should be thankful. I'm hearing thanks in your voice, Addie, for my New York Yankees.
Can you see my face?
I can. Vermont Mike says, move the Rays to Montreal.
No.
I agree with that.
No.
Bring back my Expos. I like the Nationals, but they ain't my Expos. All right, Addie. I hope I helped. I hope we. I don't think I cheered you up, but at least I gave you food for thought.
It's just been simmering anger. Like I haven't needed cheering up today.
Mm-hmm.
I got 10 hours of sleep last night because that's
ready.
what the migraine required.
There you go.
We're just low key rage and trying to turn it into productiveness.
I think that's I think it's a good spot to be. Easy for me to say, but I think that's where you want to be. Low key rage and no productivity and just an entire pizza. That's allowed. We all need that. We have to emerge from that at some point.
That'll hurt tomorrow morning.
All right, Addie, I appreciate you. You're the professor. Teach us.
Of chemistry.
Chemistry.
Easy to remember.
Look, the professor of smart things. Jen Landon, I named it.
I like that better. I might have to put that on business cards.
I think you should. Addie, thanks for calling in. Addie is one of our loyal listeners here, and I appreciate all of you calling in. You make the show happen. Without it, it's just a bearded dude in a beanie who is yelling. And, I look like every other podcaster in the world. I don't know when I'm going to trim this beard. I'm going to take a call. Jared set up. Jared set up, but Jared doesn't have a shirt on again. I don't think. At least I'm looking in the queue. Malcolm with with a question. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Malcolm. I'm going to get to that. But I got to take a call from Laserbolt. Laserbolt, if you're ready, because I loved the call last week. Laserbolt's here. Laserbolt called into us from his RV on the road. So I was inspired, and you put a tour of your RV up on your shorts, your YouTube shorts, and I loved it, Laserbolt. You got a great setup, man.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I do. Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of it. Just I got home about 2 hours ago, though, so back in Michigan. Took 3 solid days of driving, but yeah, here I am.
I respect that, man. You're back, and you call into the show. I'm checking the poll here really quick.
Oh, I wouldn't miss this.
The self-care this past week. How did you self-care this past week? Ate bad food is leading with 50%. Slept in really late, 14. Drink, drugs, or both, 16. And all of it, 20%. You are a wonderfully chill guy, Laserbolt. That doesn't mean you're not affected or care about the world. I know, in fact, you do. You're very insightful. I would describe you, I think, in a way, as Zen. Is that wrong? How did you cope this week? What'd you do? Or were you so ahead of it that that's why you took the trip that you're like, I'm just going to get away from it all?
Well, Ken, that was a tough question because I'm actually all of the above all the time.
So you're
yeah, I'll be honest with you. That is one of the reasons why I left town for 2 weeks is I just wanted to get away from the circus and, be out in the woods and not even know who won. I got to say, I had no idea who won until your show last week, which it was only on Wednesday, the day after.
It was Wednesday.
But, that's how I figured it out.
Hey, my friends Alex and Molly went camping this weekend. They needed the reset, and I really, you feel probably connected to the road and nature. It's a good thing.
Love it.
To get out there for you. What's on your mind tonight, buddy?
Well, I don't know. The only question I really have for you is what in the world is up with kickers this year, huh? What's going on there? Or just the last couple of years? Kickers are insane all of a sudden. A 50-yarder is nothing.
It's nothing. All right. So to set for those who maybe don't watch football and maybe just don't watch sports, but what you're talking about is going everywhere. It's in every aspect of sports right now. And what Laserbolt is talking about here is in the NFL, kickers, which used to be, either the college soccer player who could kick the football far or someone from Denmark's soccer team. You'd sign him to an NFL contract. And for a long time, the NFL record was, 59 yards? Tom Dempsey.
Something like that. Like 60, 59, something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
a 50-yarder used to be very difficult.
Used to be very long, and I think his was someone who can tell me about Tom Dempsey. I think it was like 60 yards or something like that. And I'm not. This isn't a joke. Tom Dempsey had a club foot, like he kicked with like a shoe that was custom made. And for a long time, again, I'm not making jokes of it, but it was like that. A lot of people thought, well, that was why. That was why. Right. And my favorite kicker for the Miami Dolphins, Pete Stoyanovich, who eventually kicked for Kansas City as well, but he hit a 59-yarder in 1990, and it was like the world ended. Like, dear God, he hit 59 yards. This is amazing. Kickers are literally kicking 55-yarders like it's an extra point.
Yeah, and they're not even like these soccer players like they used to get from Europe and things like this. They're just, I mean, geez, the Lions have a kicker that just kicked 2 50-yarders to win the game.
Oh, and he scraped the paint, and they were beautiful.
This guy was just a blue-collar worker a couple years ago.
He was. Yeah. Great story.
Yeah, just a guy.
And that's the thing. Like, as we get better, the science of sports is pretty impressive. Naturally, it makes sense. I'm not a professor of smart things like Addie, but it makes sense that as we progress as humankind, we're going to get bigger and faster and stronger and find ways to do it. And you can make your jokes if you want about illicit drugs that help, and that's certainly sometimes been part of the situation and the scenarios. But beyond that, it's just how we train and how we approach it. And I keep saying the science, these next gen stats, Laserbolt. I don't know how much you dive into that. I know you're an old school football fan like me, but do you dive into next gen stats at all?
A little bit. I mean, I can't keep up with all the stats nowadays. I'm pretty much just into the games, and Like,
here we go.
Football
Jared,
is by far my favorite, though. So that's the one that I know the most about.
Baseball's still mine, but God, I love my Dolphins. Even though they break my heart.
They did good this week. I was
They did
rooting
good
for
this
them.
week. Jared, the Tide Pilot, says this. Justin Tucker, 66 yards. Brandon Aubrey, 65. Matt Prater, I remember Prater, 64. Tom Dempsey, that was the record, 63 yards. That was the record. 66 yards. And you're looking in baseball, most pitchers, and they're blowing out their shoulders, and they're not great pitchers, all of them. They're not Greg Maddux. I'd rather have a Greg Maddux any day of the week. But they're if you don't throw 98 to 102, you're not making a major league team these days out of the bullpen.
Yep, right. The bar's raised.
The bar's raised. And again, this is not new to sports, but there's just something. And I bring up the stats and the next gen stats. I bring it up particularly in baseball. And I've had this conversation before. I had a conversation with a pal who made the major leagues, and I just asked him one time. I said I was being a crotchety old man. You know what that's like, Lazy Ball.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what do these stupid stats mean? Right? Wins above replacement and spin rate and everything. He goes to you and your fantasy baseball fans, they shouldn't mean anything. They should. If someone says they know, don't worry about it. But for us as players, it is to break down the game to a micro miniverse, holographic universe level. It is the multiverse. It is breaking it down. Give you
something to shoot for.
Yeah, and I think I'm fascinated by that. Where it's a little frustrating because the Dolphins lost the game to the Bills on like a 61-yarder. That wasn't even in doubt. And I'm interested. Kicking used to be what I wanted to do. I thought I could make the high school team as a kicker. I was
Really?
good from 29 yards, but literally, if I tried from 30, I couldn't get it 15 yards. It was weird. It was mental.
Really? I would have taken you more of a baseball guy.
I did try out. I tried out for the baseball team, Lazy Ball, but I was definitely cut. I was a great coach. I was not a good player, and I wasn't good. I'm not an athlete. I'm not. That's why I sit here with a.
Yeah, me too. I can hit the ball like crazy. That's about it. That's my only baseball skill. But man, I can hit the ball.
I imagine. I can imagine. You probably you played back when Little League had wood bats. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of chopping wood.
Chopping wood, indeed. No, great question. I don't know it. It's been fun to watch. Look, man, I watched. Danny Marino's my favorite, NFL player of all time, and I was watching some YouTube highlights. And of course, once the algorithm's like, "Oh, you like Dan Marino? Here's 15 videos about Dan Marino." I watched like a 10-minute video this morning that was just the Dan Marino's top 50 plays, but really it was just like there were some famous plays that you would imagine, the fake spike and everything, but it was him throwing the football to Duper or Clayton for the most part, and I just was mesmerized for 10 minutes. But even they said, the game's changed so much. Like Dan Marino would throw for 7,000 yards now.
Yeah. I don't think people nowadays really appreciate how much everybody was so blown away that he never got a Super Bowl. I mean, that is mind blowing how good he was. And everybody knew how good he was, and they just couldn't put it together.
They couldn't put it together. Laserboat, before I let you go here, what are you feeling about your Lions right now?
Well, obviously, I'm feeling pretty good. They're tearing it up. The thing I like the most, Ken, is for the first time in my life, I'm 57 years old, and this is the first time I've ever heard people talk good about the Lions.
Yeah,
this is great. The commentators are saying the Lions are good. The commentators are actually talking about us, and that's something I'm not used to. It used to be every single game, win or lose, they talk about the other team. What did the other team do wrong? How did they lose to the Lions? It was never about us. It's refreshing. I love it.
Yeah, what I like for the city of Detroit, and Romo's not here right now. She's probably playing Fortnite with Plume. But what I like is in my lifetime, you've had, in my time of watching football, you had that 91 season championship
92,
game.
92,
yeah. Sanders and Kramer and Ware, that whole team, Spielman.
Yeah, it was a hot year.
You had a couple blips and blurbs the last couple seasons, and then last season. But this season, Dan Campbell, a Miami Dolphin head coach, we let walk. I still like Mike McDaniel, but Dan Campbell was an interim after Flores. He's turned you into a team, and it's great to watch. I love when that happens.
People forget how bad he started as coach. His first year with the Lions, he only won a couple games. It was awful. it took him, what is he, in his third year now? Maybe fourth? Yep. Gosh, I can't even remember. But it took him this long. Just like 3 games ago, he finally hit 500. He started that bad. And think about how good of the last 2 seasons we've had. We've only lost a few. And it took him that long just to hit 500. So I'm glad we stuck with them, you know?
I stick to sports lessons a lot in life. Sometimes a big loss or a crumbling down of your system means you get to build it back up. And if you do it the right way, it builds up for real. So I love that. Thank you, Laserbolt, for calling in and giving us an update.
Yeah. Well, hey, keep up the good work, buddy.
You too. Make some more drone videos for me. All right. I need one.
I got some drone videos of the place I camped this weekend. Speaking of camping, you need to get back into camping. I don't know. Get out there a little bit.
Hold on. You saying I need to get back into camping? You mean I need to get into camping?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, brother. There's nothing better than letting your hair flow in the breeze, take your shirt off, build a fire, cook some meat.
Here's what I want to know. How many times in the last week have you been naked in the woods, Laserbolt? You got to be honest.
Twice.
Love it.
I was showering, but yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Check out his channel, Laserbolt Videos, everybody. Thank you for calling in, my friend. All right. Thanks, hair flowing, says Steve. We got an update. Addie says, I did it. She signed up for Blue Sky. She did it. Everyone's celebrating. Oh, that's wonderful. Everyone follow Addie. I got a call. I got football picks in a bit here, a little after 6. I do have a question here from Malcolm. Thank you for the generous super chat. If you want a super chat, I'm not going to say I don't need it. Ken, you're famous for having never seen a movie. Kid, of course. Here's a question. What's a movie that we would be surprised you have seen? Ooh, yeah, that's a great question. I've famously not seen a lot of movies. I've never seen The Godfather. I've never seen Jaws all the way through. Finally did see Ghostbusters. Never seen Top Gun. But there actually are a ton of movies that come up. God, I'm drawing a blank, but I don't know, Once Upon a Time in America, it comes up a lot. So I have seen that, studied that. I don't know. Name one. It's Malcolm. I wish I could give you the right answer, but you would be surprised. It's not that I didn't like movies or didn't watch them back in the day. In fact, in the 90s, I watched movies all the time. I was in film school. But it's the big ones that surprise people. And that's always been confusing. People are always like, wait, hold on. You haven't seen Godfather, but you've seen Kramer versus Kramer. It's that. Great question. Maybe I will come up with a better answer. Malcolm, I'm going to pin that one, and I'm going to come back to that and see if I can actually make a list here of the movies. Oh, Svetnik has never seen The Godfather 2. See, I'm not alone. Will McLean has never seen The Godfather. Kingsport Cal, he's going to call in later. You're dead to me. Finally. All right. Jared, Tide Pilot. Then we got Steve with football picks. So, Jared, we're going to get right to it. What'd you vote in the poll, and how you doing?
For those who didn't just see what I did, I raised up the good old water device to 10. So yeah, that would be my vote.
Okay, I was looking at my White Claw. I see what you did. So you voted for sinning. You sinned in the eyes of the Lord that Mike Huckabee loves. Got it.
Always, every day.
Good man. Hey, look, it works. My vice is, sitting there and drooling while I play Fortnite. If you hit the tube, so to speak, there. That's good. Sorry, I got to address this comment. Svetnik's sharing my upbringing. Grew up in a religious home, and R-rated wasn't allowed. I've been trying to catch up, and there's a lot to catch up on. Yeah, that's been the big reason for me as well. There was actually a church elder at my church growing up who got caught seeing an R-rated movie, and we're not talking going to one of those theaters. Just saw a movie that was rated R, and he got expelled. They took his church eldership away. Vermont Mike's with me. I've never seen Godfather. I've seen parts of Scarface because they were playing in our film class a lot. Say hello to my little friend. Jared, what's on your mind? What's your question? Then I'm going to get the football picks. I'm not here to rush you, Jared, because you've been here waiting, but I do want to know what's on your mind.
Oh, well, complete side note. How did you get through film school without seeing Scarface all the way through?
I wasn't very good. No, here I'll tell you why. This is it's too long of a story, and it's an inside baseball story for me and my friend Joel, who I'm still friends with in LA here. He's a film school teacher. He actually teaches screenwriting and stuff at a LA college. We were in a video production class in high school by a teacher named Ed Dickerson. And me, my friend Joel, a couple other friends, were kind of the stars of the class, right? And we made a lot of fun videos, and it's just like, we weren't popular, but we were just like, we were the best in the class in terms of making videos, shooting. And we were shooting with cameras that had cords that went to a VCR you had to carry with you. Like, this is that stuff in the day. And we'd edit on a digital machine, but it was we were really good. So when we showed up to our film school, and I want to make sure I wasn't like NYU or anything. It was the film program at our community college, Allen Hancock Community College. But it's a good film program. It was a top-notch one, had good reputation. A lot of people go on to UCLA, USC, Cal State Northridge, which my friend Joel ended up doing. So that was the stopping point, right? The teacher there, Harold Casey Case, was like, "Oh, you guys are Dickerson students, right? Yeah, great. Hey, don't worry about this. Go off and do your stuff." So we would show up to classes, and we'd have assignments and stuff. Some nights you'd sit there, we learned the basics, but other times he was just like, hey, "Go make your films." And some people, Jared, would take that and run with it and suddenly win Oscars for their film career. The four of us, mostly me and my friend Joel, we'd go to Toys R Us and buy toys and eat dinner at Carl's Jr. we didn't work.
Nothing wrong with that.
But we didn't learn. We didn't use the education time to the best of our ability. And so when it kind of ended, it was like we had nothing to show for it. And that was why. And so I wasn't it wasn't like I was there on a Wednesday night watching Godfather in the class. I was in the edit bay doing a dumb video that we made for fun.
Oh God. I feel that because I too was a film school student who dropped out. And it's kind of similar to how Kevin Smith tells his story, where I signed up for my program because they were just like, it's a lot of practical, not a lot of theory. Yeah. We didn't touch a camera for 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's part of it. Look, man, I wanted to be a director. That was one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to be George Lucas when I was a 7-year-old, right? And I'd write things and have stories, and I wanted to do it. And then the reality is, you get there and you're like, a director does not just sit on set pointing as an actor is listening to him, like every shot I saw of George Lucas, like,
nope.
What a great job. You just show up with a script that you wrote, and then you just kind of go, hey, all right, action. And once I got there, and it was the film theory and all that stuff, but also the technical stuff, you having to know a little. I mean, look, I still don't know lighting. I just tonight realized that one of the reasons I had a shadow on my face is one of my microphones was in front of the camera. Like I always, because I like creating this dark kind of studio environment, because when I was in radio, I'd have the lights low. It doesn't work for YouTube. Like I'm horrible with this stuff. And I was like, I don't want to be a director anymore, because I'm not. I just want to tell actors, go do that scene and write a script. So there you go.
Good man.
That's why. Fair question.
Fair
question. What's a movie you haven't seen, Jared, that you feel you should have seen?
Oh God, that's a good question. I don't know, because I'm kind of the opposite of you, where I just literally sat down and watched everything.
Yeah.
And it started with me real young. Oh, thank you, Brian.
Yeah, Brian Taylor says Jared's laugh is contagious, and I think we know what fuels that laugh, Jared. And I think we all should take a little bit of what you do.
I try, man. I try.
All right, so you don't have an answer. Come back next week with a movie you feel you've missed. Maybe that'll be it. That'll be the question next week.
Actually, no. This is I have a film opinion that gets the film school kids pissed off. Yeah. I really hate Citizen Kane.
Oh, I've never seen it.
I will give it the props that what it did, kind of like how the Beatles changed recording in this, like the behind the scenes of it.
Right.
You don't have to like the music, but you have to respect. Without the Beatles, recording would be very bad.
Preach on.
I have my same feelings of Citizen Kane. The movie the story is just not good to me. Don't like it.
Okay.
What it did behind the scenes was great, but oh my God, I don't understand how people still like it. Should be taught in film school as the technical wonder, not this. Let's examine why Rosebud was so important.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? You need to get really stoned and do a film essay about this on YouTube. That's what I want.
Oh,
that's
Lord.
what I want. Do that for me. Do that for me.
I think I might.
Jared, I got football picks coming up here, so I will say this before I let you go. I emptied the hell out of my mailbox today.
Good man. Good man. I left some very passive aggressive notes today because it's cold and I'm just done stuffing stuff in the mailbox.
You left notes.
Oh yeah, we have little pads and stuff, right? Just put empty mailbox or empty boxes all, and I just stick it.
This is. You're a Coen Brothers character. I don't know what Coen Brothers character you are, but like the note leaving mailman. I want more of this.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I specifically picked today because I knew it was coming up. My favorite day of the month. It's bill day, so everybody in the city I work got their electric and light bill. So that just adds 8 trays of mail to your day.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
So I was like,
bet you hate the mailer days, right?
The
grocery store coupons and everything. Like, oh man.
Here's the thing with those. Those are very easy, but it depends on how much Amazon nonsense is ordered. Like today, one house for no reason got 13 large packages.
Yeah.
Like
there you
I
go.
feel like oh my lordy.
Addie says this is what I need from Jared on Blue Sky: passive aggressive mail notes. I think I don't want you don't do anything with you in trouble, but
So, oh no, I mean I brought back a lot of electric bills today because like there's just no room to put it in. That's
dangerous, man. That's I like you being hardliner on this. Look. Hey, hopefully you in 2 years, Trump doesn't get rid of mail because he doesn't know what it is. But I think we'll be all right. Jared, I appreciate you calling in, buddy.
All right, brother. You stay safe.
All right. Jared, the TIE pilot. We love him. And Laserbolt says, that's Kingsport Cal. Laserbolt says this: editing is my favorite part of making a video. All the rest are just gathering supplies. Editing is where you're making the film. I don't like Laserbolt anymore. No, kidding. You should be a film teacher. That's exactly what they tell me. And I'd be like, no, I just want to go stand on the set. That's what I want to do. All right. We've got great comments in chat. We got this again. I already hit that super chat. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you, James, for the gifted memberships. If you want to call it in the show, if you're just checking out the show because maybe you just discovered I'm still alive, that I didn't die after Collider let me go in 2020. For the final time. I'm still here. We're having fun. And you could call into the show by becoming a channel member or a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/catnapsock. If you want to help the show, you can tip on streamelements.com/catnapsock.tip. Links are down below. Or directly here if you got your phone in your hand with this QR code. Or you can do me the best favor ever. Watch, like the video. And here's what I would love. Go on Blue Sky and tell people, hey, I have a lot of fun with this show. Let's get some word out because this is something I love doing every week. We're not stopping. We're going, and I'd love to do more. Imagine blathering 3 nights a week. Oh, my voice is gonna that would hurt. Okay, we are gonna get to one of my favorite things to do: bet on football fictitiously. I haven't actually put money down. You know it. About 6 o'clock every show, if he's available. Some weeks he might not be available. We'll see. Steve's checking in. We are here. I can't wait for this week, buddy. But how are you doing? What did you do to cope? Where are you at?
Hey, Ken. Thank you so much for having me again, as always. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, buddy.
It was a pretty good few days. The thing I wanted to put in, if there was like an other, I mean, I did all the stuff on the poll, so I voted all of it. Sleeping in for me is like 8 a.m. because I have a baby, so 8 a.m. is pretty good. So, but we got to 8, so we'll count that.
That works.
No, but for me the best coping thing was the show last week, and also really the show you guys did with the Bomb Bag guys was just great. It was so much fun. It was just 2 hours of just smiling and laughing.
Good, man. And I saw you in the chat, and it was good to see you there. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I love those guys. Steve, you're Steve. I did that the other night. Side note, I was talking to a comic. Her name's Holly, and I went, "Hey, Holly, how you doing?" And she has a show coming up with another friend of mine named Sarah. And I went, "Oh, good, good. Yeah, you got that show next week with Holly." And she's like, "I'm Holly." I was like, "Oh, that's right. Sorry." So Scotty and Jerry, the Cannon Junkie, are just two sweethearts of human beings. I really love what they do. So, Steve, I'm glad you hung out with us and enjoyed the show.
Yeah, no, it was great. And if you guys haven't watched it, I definitely encourage everyone watching now to go check that out on both of their channels. But yeah, no, like I said, a little bit of everything, getting through stuff, but it's been it's been good. It's I'm excited to talk football this week. Because you said you haven't bet money on these and just fictitiously, and it's too bad you haven't, because you'd be making good money. So we can talk about that.
Maybe soon. I was talking with a buddy. I won't out the buddy, and not even about this. This is actually before the season started. I was like, I don't know. Should I do some DraftKings or some whatever? And he's like, I think there's restrictions in California. I don't think you can actually win money in California, so I have to look that up. But maybe I'll have to have someone place the bets like Kingsport Cal. I bet he has no problem finding some bookie in Tennessee. All right, so we got that. You coped. I appreciate you being on the show last week. For those watching who missed it, we did a channel member only, Patreon member only show in terms of live, and the audio version is out there. I just wanted to keep the episodes a little close to the chest last week as I talked about things. But it is time for football picks, Steve. And as always, first you're going to let me know how I did. I think I did pretty good.
Pretty good. Again, it's deja vu. You killed it. 4-1 for week 10. You were 25-20 on the season. Your only loss last week was Washington. Pittsburgh beat them by 1 point. You had Washington by 2.5.
That's right. Oh, and that was a game that almost broke up the friendship between Josh McCougan and Mark Ellis. Tough game.
Yeah, the way that game ended that is so satisfying if you're a Pittsburgh fan, because I don't know if you saw how that ended, but for the people who didn't see, the Washington had a chance to win. They had the ball, or no, they did not. Pittsburgh had the ball. There was a chance for Washington to get the ball back for a chance to win, and Pittsburgh forced Washington to jump off sides, and Pittsburgh then got 4 extra downs and was able to end the game. And it was a rookie who did it, and the dude put his hands on his helmet as soon as it happened. And if he wasn't a Washington player, I'd feel bad for him, because my birds are currently losing to Washington. So sorry if I'm not my normal chipper self this evening.
That's fair. But 4-1, and I was really proud that I did that, for me, complicated bet where I took the Bengals to lose, but the cover, and that was a fantastic finish. And I was sitting here in my studio watching the game on YouTube TV Live, screaming like I had a betting problem, because I was like, yes, they lost, but I won.
But you won, yeah. Baltimore was a 6.5-point favorite, so there was a lot of room there. So yeah, you two weeks in a row of just crushing it. 4-1 for 2 weeks in a row, 25-20 on the season. So even if you have a disaster this week, you're not going to be underwater. So let's keep stringing winners together.
The worst I could do is 500. Okay. All right, here we go. We got picks for this week. Steve, you give me 5 picks. As always, the Miami Dolphins are in there, and I have to see if I can bet against my team. It hurts. It hurts, but I took them last week, and I knew it. I had a feeling. I just had a feeling, and they had a great game against the Rams in L.A. So what do we got this week?
All right, here we go. Pick number 1 is Atlanta at Denver. Denver is a 1.5-point favorite.
Atlanta at Denver. And Atlanta is coming off – are they coming off a loss? Where were they at last week? They were.
Oh, you put me on the spot. I got to look at my scores from last week. Atlanta lost to the Saints 20-17. Oof, right. That's rough. The Saints are
bad. Yeah, and as always, a loss can focus you, but it's in Denver. Kirk Cousins is a good. I like Kirk Cousins. I probably don't want to know his voting record, but I like him enough. But here's the thing. I'm going Denver, and I think it's going to be one of those games where you kind of go, Kirk Cousins he's not that guy. I think it's at least a touchdown that Denver's going to win at home.
Denver winning at home. Yeah, Bo Nix is playing well. People are excited about Bo Nix. Well. All right, we're on the Bo Nix train for game number 1. Here we go. Game number 2. Huge game this week. This is Kansas City on the road at Buffalo. Buffalo is a 2.5-point favorite.
They are a favorite. Okay. Man, 9-0 Chiefs, right?
Undefeated.
Kansas City. But I saw an article. I'll admit I didn't read it, Steve. I just read the headline, which is not a thing I preach about. I think everyone should read beyond the headlines. But I saw a headline that was like the Chiefs are like the worst 9-0 team in a while. Like they're great as a team. Obviously, we know the players, we know their coach, but they're getting by. And that's not to say they aren't the best. I don't want anyone to misunderstand me. But the article, the tone I gathered was they're undefeated, but this ain't the Patriots when they lost to the Giants, David Tyree. So that said, I am I need Kansas City to win, but the Dolphins aren't going to get the division. We're wild card. Bills are going to win. Bills are going to win. It is going to be close, but I don't think the Chiefs cover. Bills going to win.
All right, taking the Bills at home, too. That's a huge game. That'll be fun.
Big game.
All right, here we go. Game number 3, Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a 3-point underdog at home.
Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Man. Okay, hold on. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. I'm going to need some help here. Put a pin in that one.
Okay.
Steve, what's the next pick?
Okay, we'll go to game number 4. We will put a pin in Pittsburgh. Cincy at the Chargers. Chargers are a 1.5-point favorite at home.
Cincy's going to win, and they're going to win by at least a field goal.
Wow.
Okay. I still think Cincy's a good team. They remind me of the Dolphins. I know they're down and out. It's not the season for them, but it's a good team out there. And I'm going to put some faith in them. And even it's on the road.
Watch their games. I wish my dog looked at me the way Harbaugh looks at Justin Herbert.
I know his name's Justin Herbert. As a Bobby Hebert fan, I have a hard time saying Justin Herbert.
He's good. He's really good.
Yeah. All right. I'm texting. I'm calling. I'm trying to get a phone-a-friend in here.
Well, we still got your Dolphins, so if you want
Okay.
to if you want to save the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game to the very end, we can go Dolphins. But we usually pick your Dolphins last.
We do pick the Dolphins last. Let's see if I can get McCoog. I'm trying to get McCoog on the phone.
Okay. Well, we can. That's okay. We can.
All right. So let's recap for a second here. I'm taking Denver, taking Buffalo. I'm going to come back to the Pittsburgh game.
Taking Cincy.
And then we got, it's not a scintillating game, but we got Las Vegas Raiders at my Miami Dolphins.
At the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. And I got to tell you something. Dolphins are going to win big. Sorry, Raiders. Dolphins are going to win by 10 points at least. And I know, we're not worried about that, but I'm not making a point prediction. But Dolphins, Raiders aren't going to cover. Not even close. Okay. Steve, it's not even close. We're back, baby.
7 points is a lot. I mean, Vegas doesn't have any offense, so I feel good about that too.
All right, he's not. You know why he's not calling me? He's traveled. He's in Philadelphia tonight. McCoog is in Philadelphia, so I'm not going to get his expert opinion. But what is it going to? They're at Pittsburgh.
Baltimore's at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a 3-point dog. Pittsburgh is coming off that win in Washington, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is playing well. That offense is totally revitalized. The Pittsburgh defense is probably one of the best in the league. Baltimore, on the other hand, offense is lights out on the ground between Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. They're just running over people. You still have really talented receivers with Flowers and Bateman. So, but the Ravens defense, which has historically been their strong point, is like sneaky not good this year. So this is that's kind of like the weird wild card.
See, and here's inside the mind of non-football expert but longtime football fan Ken. I go to things like that. Cincy almost beat them, and Cincy's not had a great year. I'm taking Cincy this week because I think they're going to come back and they're going to kick their own asses into higher gear. Pittsburgh, it's the Steelers, man, and even when they're kind of down and out, they're never really down and out. That's how much I trust them. That's how much I trust Tomlin to scare the living daylights out of his roster. I don't love Russell Wilson. But he's got a good track record at time. He is who he is. I'm going with Pittsburgh, and I don't think Baltimore covers. It's going to be a close game. What's Pittsburgh down by?
Pittsburgh's a 3-point dog, so it's actually a really good pick to take Pittsburgh at home as a 3. You're getting 3 points, so if Baltimore wins by 1 or 2, you're still solid.
Yeah, but I'm telling you what, I think it's close, but I think it's going to be like a 4 or 5 point game.
Okay. Well, I'm rooting for you. So just to recap your picks one more time, and Addie's asked a few times in chat here to explain the cover point system, so we'll go over that. But your picks here are we're taking Denver at home against Atlanta. You're taking Buffalo at home against Kansas City, Pittsburgh at home against Baltimore, Cincinnati on the road against the Chargers, and as always, you're taking your Dolphins at home against Vegas.
Though the one time I took them to lose, they did cover, and I got the point there, right? I remember that, right? It was Arizona.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes. As you predicted. I mean, it was. You said they're going to lose. They had 5 points to give. You said they were going to lose by 3, and that's exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened. All right. That is NFL picks for this week. I'm 25-20. Can we go 4-1 again? I'd love to go 5-0. Let's make it happen. But Steve, should we explain a little bit? Because I'm not great with the covers and the spreads and the numbers. I'm a little bit of a dummy. But if the professor of smart things needs to know, explain it again.
I love to help people. And as a degenerate, let me spread my knowledge. So the point spread that we've been talking about is the points. That means the team is favored by that many points. And when you hear the half a point in there, that's just because the guys in Vegas are assholes. And there's reasons why those hotels and casinos are really, really tall. Really big. Yeah. What it means is, for example, if Denver is a 1.5 point favorite at home against Atlanta, that means if you pick Denver and they're 1.5 point favorite, Denver has to win by more than 1 point for your bet to cash out. Right. Yeah. So if Denver is a 1.5 point favorite and they win by 1 point and you bet on Atlanta, you win. So the funny thing about point spreads is you can win on the losing team if they, are within that margin on the points.
And then last week was a great example of we had Cincinnati and Baltimore, and I said Baltimore would win, but Cincy would cover because I believe Baltimore was 3 point favorite.
Baltimore was a 6.5 point favorite. Right. So all you needed was for Cincinnati to lose by less than 7 points,
which I think it was a 1 point game, right? So
1 or 3. So you were well within. You were well within. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. So that's how, Addie, that's how it is. And like I said, over the years, I just nod and think I act like I understand it. But because of Steve and his work on NFL picks, the segment here in the Blathering, I fully understand it now. And now I'm ready to form a gambling problem.
Exactly. And now the other thing, just real quick because we've done points. The other thing is the money lines that you'll see, the plus and the minuses for the hundreds. Right. So think of that as betting $100. So if you see someone is plus 200. So usually if you're like a couple point underdog, you'll be 1 or 200. So plus 200 means if you bet $100 on that team, you'll win $200. If a team is minus 200, that means if you have to bet $200 to win $100.
Which, just doesn't seem good. Those hotels, like you say, are big.
Big hotels.
Big hotels. Addie says, I love learning. Thank you. She probably took notes. I bet, you know what? Let's check in about 2 or 3 weeks. I bet Addie will be a very rich person from like joining DraftKings or something like that, or FanDuel. I bet we're going to find out she's like, you know what? I did it. I joined Blue Sky and started an account on DraftKings, and I just bought a house. I think that's what's going to happen.
Addie's going to just a beautiful mind sports gambling in 2 weeks.
Steve, as always, buddy, thank you for calling in. Appreciate it. After the football season, we're not going to be done. We're going to figure out some other fun things to do.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Ken.
All right, Steve, check it in. We also got Anthony at Force Ghost Conversations. I just did it's going to be about a 2-hour interview with Anthony yesterday. That's going to come out on Sunday. We talked about the 5-year anniversary of Rise of Skywalker, one of my favorite Star Wars films, and we took a deep dive into it. A lot of fun. So check it out. Coming this Sunday. Follow Force Ghost Conversations so you don't miss it. I am almost out of here. You know what? I'm so excited tonight. Folks, I'm so excited tonight. I have a family-size Marie Callender mac and cheese microwave dinner waiting for me tonight. And when I say waiting, I'm going to make it. I don't make Grace make me dinner. In fact, I usually am the one cooking her dinner, okay? Okay, people? 2 reasons Grace loves me. I'll cook dinner for her and I tip well. All right. There's a third reason. Not going to go into it on the show. But I've got a family-sized macaroni cheese dinner thing. I'm going to warm up. I'm going to sit and play some Fortnite. It's going to be a great night. So I'm getting ready to go. But I'm not done yet because he's sitting here. He's so patient. He is so patient. Kingsport Cal, my man, my brother, my friend, my Facebook pal. How are you doing, Cal?
I don't know, Ken.
You don't know?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. A little better than last
time. I just want to make sure.
I can
you know what I mean?
I can hear
I got a question for you, Ken. I got a question.
I'm listening.
Now, are you a handyman?
No, I'm not.
Do you know?
I get frustrated.
No, keep going.
I get frustrated, Cal. Like, I can sometimes figure stuff out, but like I had my old roommate Dave, used to work at Nickelodeon for years. Great animator, great dude.
He didn't touch nobody, did he?
No. He knew some of those people.
Just making sure.
I wouldn't be friend with a monster. I used to work for some monsters, but I don't work for them anymore.
But
he was my roommate. He was my roommate, and this was before. This is like 2002 or 3. This was before we all could just pull out phones and make content, right? He was like, I want to record you trying to build IKEA furniture, and I think it would be a high ratings getting show because it is watching me trying to build prefab furniture. I get so angry. I break things. I've punched walls. I get it does. Cal, no, I'm not handy. I try to be.
Well, Ken, this happens to deal with the outside. This is not the inside. And also, I'd like to say that I cannot believe that you cannot put together something as simplistic as IKEA furniture. You are an intelligent man. I don't see you not being able to put together. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Let me get this.
What?
I can do it. Okay. The furniture gets built. This table that I'm on is an IKEA thing. This right here, this bookshelf. I get the job done. I get the job done, Cal. It's just the amount of swear words and thrown, wrenches and everything, and it's ugly. It's ugly, and that's why my friend wanted to film me.
All right. Well, that you should, but you didn't do it. That probably would have got good views. Anyway, this is about outside. But there would be
no place to put it. That was my point. There'd be no place to put it. It was like 2002 or 3. We could have got a website, but you'd have to pay for broadband. One of my friends, David Fickus, in 1999, he and his friends made like a video that's like Star Wars auditions. It cost them. It went viral. It cost them tens of thousands of dollars to pay for the space to hold it.
Are you talking about? For some reason, when you said that, my mind directly went to Star Wars kids.
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't Star Wars kids, but yeah. All right.
Anyway,
Kid, so to your question, no, I'm not handy.
This is outside. This is outside.
Outside handy.
And let me ask you, Ken, do you have any knowledge or any experience with a leaf blower?
No. Okay. Oh, Cal, I don't know if you have it in your heart to give me a Christmas gift, but they have electric leaf blowers, and I want to get one. We do have a wonderful landscaping gardener, husband and wife team that comes to the house every Monday. Sometimes you hear them during Force Center. They are great. I love them. And they have the blow dryer, the leaf blower. I have a blow dryer. I can use a blow dryer.
Grace has a blow dryer.
I use hers. I have my own, but hers is way better. I want one.
Ponytail Ken, bring it back. Ponytail Ken. Anyway,
I want one, Cal. Because I think it would be fun. Because we have a pine tree in our front yard, 2 actually, and our front yard gets covered with pine needles. I would love to do it, but they're like $200. I can't.
Well, check this out, Ken. The reason why I'm asking you, I was hoping you'd have some knowledge about leaf blowers because I'm looking.
Steve likes your question. Steve thinks you had this is an amazing question, Cal.
Well, okay, cool. Thank you, Steve. And go football, whatever. But listen, I've been looking into getting a leaf blower. Now you got 3 options. You got a cordless leaf blower. You got cord leaf blower, which I'm going to be outside. I have an outside outlet, but I don't like to use it.
Right.
Anyway, you got that. Then you got the gas.
Right.
And you also have in the gas realm. You also have where you can strap it on your back. I used to use them because I worked at golf course for a very short stint.
Right.
The
big
used
ones.
gas powered leak. Yeah, you strap that thing on your back. It's about $200.
I bet
But
Laserbolt Video has one of those. I bet Laserbolt has those.
He probably does. Oh yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Laserbolt, by the way, while we're at it, out there RVing it and doing his thing. His old ass hippie. He's cool. Anyway, but yeah, and then you got the battery. You got your battery, which is your cordless. And that's the one I want. But what I've been looking at, Ken, is that the cordless ones aren't as powerful. I'm not talking about going out on the deck or on my porch and getting some leaves off. I'm talking about getting out there in the grass and blowing doing big things, Ken. Doing big things. I'm talking about making a big old call. I got trees around my stuff, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
So I got to get out there.
I do know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying.
I need power. Who is that? Tim Allen? Remember that?
Let's not quote Tim Allen. Let's quote Kingsport Cal. I need power.
Well, I need power. I need some power.
All right,
and I need that in a lot of things.
So what are we gonna do? I answered your question.
I don't know, man.
I'm not familiar with him.
I know. Yes, my question.
Is your question? Hold on. Cal, is your question? And by the way, I think your computer's haunted. Is your question? Should you get one? Are you asking for permission to get this high-powered leaf blower?
No, I'm not asking you for permission. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm a grown-ass man. And second of all, I'm not on the computer. I'm talking to you through my phone on a wireless headset. So I'm sorry if the audio is messed up.
I want to be clear. You sound fine, and you sound way better than last week. I don't know what was going on last week. You sound great. I don't want you to get a complex over this, Cal. It's just every time, it's almost like I hear my voice underwater 15 yards away. But so I'm convinced it's not me. I'm convinced it's some Dybbuk, and that you've got some attachment, and I'm worried about you.
I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'll listen to your troubles because you put them out there for free, and I can hear it while I'm at work doing my trouble.
Yeah, you
ain't got to worry about me. I'm fine. I'm a fine individual.
By the way, Cal,
I live every day to day. What do you want to tell me? What advice can you give me?
No, there's no advice. Just how like my roommate wanted to film me building IKEA furniture in 2002.
You're not filming me doing anything.
No. I want you and I to be a sitcom. I want someone to follow you and I around, going to a restaurant or shopping or something. I bet we'd be the next Larry David and JB Smoove. I'm telling you, we got gold sitting here. We got gold. We just got.
We could have fun, kid. We could have a lot of fun. The only thing is, I would probably never go to LA.
Why? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of in LA? Come out here. Come out here.
I don't know, man. I'm rooted here. I can't do it. But I'll tell you what. I mean, it would be great. It would be amazing. But I'll tell you what. I know you threatened me one time. You threatened me with a good time once when you said it might be possible, Cal. Me and Ellis might be coming to Tennessee. You said that months ago, son.
We
might.
Okay. We might.
All right.
We might. Look, all right, we're going to do this one. I want a pilot episode. I want 20 minutes of Ken and Cal. Well, I'll get to Kingsport. I'll fly into that Johnson City, Tri-Cities Airport. We'll do it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Since you won't come to LA, and Jake Iacovetta says LA sucks balls, which is false.
Oh, what's up, Jake?
A beautiful, robust city. With so much to do, but let's not worry about Jake Iacovetta. Let's worry about you and I, Cal.
We need Jake though. We need Jake though too. He's a real one too. You know what I'm saying?
Jake's a real one indeed. I love Jake Iacovetta.
He's invited to the cookout just like you, kid.
He's invited to the cookout. Hold the fuck on. Jake Iacovetta got a cookout invite. Did he get it before me or after?
You too. I said you too.
But did I get it first? I want first. Want first.
To be honest, Ken. To be honest with you, Ken, the first ever out of the whole crew to get the cookout from me.
Yeah.
was Roka. Second, Makuga.
All right.
Third,
All right.
that's all.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
you still up there though.
I'm good. Okay.
But no,
You
you're
know
up.
what?
I'm talking about in chronological order. Now let's rewind. Let's not rewind. Let's jump to 2024. We got Knapsack 1.
Knapsack 1.
Roka's still second, and then Makuga.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you want me to rank you like you used to have to rank movies,
but
then there you go.
I don't want to rank movies anymore. I don't want a movie fight.
I
I don't want a movie rank. I don't want to debate. I don't want nothing. But here's the thing: if I am number 1 on the cookout depth chart, and I get to go to your cookout, can I bring Makuga as my +1, have him then jump over Roka and keep Yakavetta way down the list? Can we do this?
I'll tell you what you do. I'll tell you how you fix that. I'll tell you exactly that exact same scenario. You take out Makuga and you put in Maud Garrett. And you're right up there, Ken.
No,
you're right up there.
I wouldn't subject Maud Garrett to whatever.
Actually, you don't even have to do that. Okay. You don't even have to do that. You bring your lovely life partner, and you're up there.
Yeah. Oh,
How about that?
Okay. Yeah.
How about that?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
That's safe.
Right, that's fair. But at least I'm number 1. Jake Yakavetta, perhaps number
Jake
12.
Jake is still on there. Jake, I mean, I'm sorry, Ken. Ken, you come in first. But if Jake slides in, like I know he will, if he slides in before you see me, and he saws he's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Oh, Jake!" It's all eyes on Jake, and then you're like, you come up as kind of.
I want to be clear. I don't think Jake Yakavetta shouldn't be at the cookout. In fact, he's saying right now, he says he makes bacon in the oven. All right.
Bacon?
No, that's Haskell. Who makes bacon in the oven? Who's
I don't know if I can trust Jake around appliances. And I have a good feeling that either Laser Bolt or Haskell knows about bacon. Maybe Laser Bolt. I might need Laser Bolt for something else though. He might have to do
Jesse W. checking in says, "I remember you from the Collider days, brother." Jesse, I'm happy you're here, and it is because I was on the Collider in the Collider days that Kingsport Cal found me, and is why I'm invited to the mother truck and cookout, and I am excited still. All right, Kingsport Cal, thank you, my friend. I'll see you soon. One of these days, I promise we'll get out to Tennessee. Okay.
I'm counting on it. Like you already know that. Anyway,
I know that.
It's good to talk to you, Ken. Good to hear your voice.
Love you, Cal.
I enjoyed the rest of the show. Off air.
All right, off air. Cal's done. We're almost done. I'm out of here. I want to remind you of some of the other things that I've been highlighting recently. We highlighted earlier in the show Ken Plume's The Art of DuckTales book. Check out that link if you're a DuckTales fan. Deluxe edition, great art of book, a lot of great history, information, and interviews in there. Our buddy Matty Gunner's new song, Truth, with his band Mourner, is out. Don't forget to check out our buddy Adam Knight's book, Cowboy Ending. He's got a trilogy of books. Check out the first one so you get familiar with that there. And if you're in L.A., Jake Yakavetta doesn't like L.A., but if you're in L.A., get a film location tour from Paul Preston, Movie Guys. You know Adam Witt, Paul Preston, Movie Guys. Paul Preston has a great tour he does. It's a very, very curated and personal movie tour. I personally endorse it. Been in LA 25 years. He took me to places I did not know were right around the corner from me. Beautiful stuff there as well. And if you want to support me on Patreon, man, I'd love that in these trying times. Patreon.com/KenNapzok. My headlining set, 40 minutes of comedy, Hot Burbank Nights, is on there, free for anyone who supports. You can call into the show, future episodes, by becoming a channel member or supporting on Patreon. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you letting me vent. Appreciate you letting me all hang out with you here. We'll do it again. Checking the calendar. Eventually in the new year. In the new year, my goal is to at least do 2 of these a week. Also, YouTube has the vertical live thing now. No different than TikTok Live or Instagram Live, which I've done before. But YouTube has the vertical live. And it is something that I'm going to be doing a lot more. And I did it at Force Center on Monday. It's going to be just pop-ups and the 20 minutes of comedy, 20 minutes of coffee, excuse me. that I was doing. I'm still planning to get back to doing them at the desk, just with my work schedule, writing for the Y-Files. It is hard to get up in the morning to stream. But look for, if you're subscribed to me on YouTube, I'll be going vertical live with 20 minutes of coffee and that kind of stuff as well. All right, that's all the business. Thank you all. Let's keep it together. It's okay to be angry, upset, hurt, but let's be focused. Let's help each other, and let's form that community. See you all. It's going to be a lot of fun next week. Bye.